Hi guys, thanks for joining me on Making with Marilyn. On today's video, I'm going to be cutting some teardrop shaped earrings out of this cork fabric, or some people call it cork leather. This is a thin piece of cork that's been adhered to a fabric backing, and I purchased this remnant at Springfield Leather Company in Springfield, Missouri. It is about 5 inches by 8 or 9 inches. And you could get several earrings out of this sheet, and I purchased it for $3 from the store. I'm going to see how a single layer earring looks in the cork fabric. I may add a second layer of leather behind the earrings that I also purchased from Springfield Leather Company. To design my earrings, I'll use my computer with Cricut Design Space. I'll use my Cricut Maker to cut them with a strong grip mat. Now my strong grip mat is losing some of its sticky, so I'll also use some strong grip transfer tape to tape it down. To adhere my material, I'll use my brayer. Once I've cut the earrings out, I will use this tool that I purchased from Harbor Freight. And I think, it's hard to remember, but I think with my 20% off coupon it was around $6, but it has a lot of different sizes of holes or punches that make various sizes of holes. And I've played with this with my cork fabric and it works beautifully. Once I have cut my earrings out and I've made the hole, then I will add these fish hook earrings. And I have a couple of needle nose pliers to help me with that. So let me get my computer set up and we'll continue with the project. I'm in Cricut Design Space and I have a file that has a lot of different earrings on it. I just keep them together. I have this one hidden, but let me show you that. See, I have one that looks like that. I have one that is more pointed at the top. I keep them in one file and then I just hide them when I don't want them. I'm going to make this pair of earrings here. It's just slightly taller than 2 inches and it is slightly wider than 1 inch. And the thing I like about this earring is it has this rounded top. For me, when the top is rounded, it makes it easier to get close to the top to punch the hole, to put my jump ring through, or to put the loop on the fish hook through. I just think it's so much easier to get close to the top than if you use the really pointed earring. The pointed earring, you have to come far enough down from it that you have some width, and then you're so far from it that it doesn't fit on your fisheye hook very well. So I came up with this pattern. Now, this cork fabric is something I've never worked with before. So for now, I want to hide one of these earrings because I don't want to accidentally mess up too much fabric if I'm not doing it correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and click Make It. Then I'm going to go ahead and continue. I've already looked for cork and I didn't find any. Let me show you. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong. I think that's how you spell cork and I found no results. So instead, I'm going to use the faux leather setting because I have some paper thin faux leather. And really this feels about like the same thickness and it has a similar backing to the faux leather. So this wants me to load my fine point blade, which I've already done, and then my machine is prompting me to go ahead and load my material. I'll get my camera angle changed so that you can see what's going on. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get our mat ready. I'm going to use some strong grip Cricut transfer tape. Since my mat isn't very sticky, I think this will help me out. Okay, I tend to put my things 2 inches down and 2 inches over when I'm putting it on the mat on the computer screen. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and back up one step so that I can see where the earring is on my mat. Okay, so I can see, it's going to be hard for you to see. I can see where my earring is. I want to go ahead and move that down so that it starts a little more than 2 inches over and 2 inches down. You can see on the grid marks. Now I'm going to cut out some of this, and I'm wasting a little bit because this is my first time to use it, and I just don't know how this is going to go exactly. So I am going to waste a little bit. I'll know next time whether my settings are correct or not, and I'll be able to do a better job next time. I want to put this face down on the mat. Since I'm starting about a little over 2 inches down, 2 inches over, I'm going to have a little bit of cushion and have this less than 2 inches down and over. In addition to just putting transfer tape under it, I'm going to tape it down. Now I don't want to have any of the transfer tape where it's going to cut, because that will make the blade kind of jump. I used to think that was okay, and I learned the hard way it wasn't. You do not want the tape on top where the blade will cut. Okay, so I want to go ahead and see how this is going to work. So I'm going to click continue. I know you can't see all of this, but you saw it when I was actually in the design stage. Again, I browsed the materials and I decided to use the faux leather setting. And I decided to use the one, it's called Paper Thin. And I'll click done. And then it tells me to use my fine point blade and that I can go ahead and load the material into the Cricut. Now, I want to really brayer that down real quick. That is a step I accidentally skipped. The other thing is you want your shiny side down. Now, if you were doing words or something like that, a design, you would want to mirror it. This is just a teardrop, so I didn't mirror it on my machine. I would typically say do that, it's a good habit, and here I forgot. So we're going to go with it. All right, let's go ahead and unload this and let's see if that cut all the way through. Well, I can tell from lifting the excess off that it did, and I'm also really glad that I put down some strong grip tape. Not just because of how well it held it, but you can see that some of the cork came off onto that, and that would have come off on my cutting mat if I didn't have that down. So let me see if it cut all the way through the tape. And it did. Nope, it did not. It looks like it cut through it, but it stayed intact. Okay, so I'm just going to use this again for my next one. I'm just going to reuse the 2 sheets or the 2 strips of tape that I used before. It seemed like it cut really nicely, so I'm not too concerned about it. So this is my second one. Now the transfer tape is still on the back side, so I need to just very carefully get that off. There we go. Now let me just turn this over and put my earrings on it so you can really see them. Aren't those pretty? So I'm going to go ahead and poke the holes or cut the holes in these. I have this little tool. Like I said, I got it at Harbor Freight. It was very inexpensive. And you can see where you're going to be poking your hole through. Let me turn it back over. It's hard for me to keep my head out of the camera and do this, but you can just put your earring down and gently set this down on your leather or whatever you're using. Now I'm going to put this closer to my face so I can see if that's where I want it. Okay, so I got really close to my face so I could adjust it exactly where I wanted it. And you just push it down and it makes a noise. And it cuts a hole in this cork just beautifully. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see, you can probably see it through my scissors really well. I'm sorry, you can probably see it through the cork onto my scissors very well. So I'll do the other one. Okay, again, you just put your tool down onto the leather where you think you want the hole without pushing too hard, and then really give it a good look over, make any adjustments, and then press it down. So again, hopefully you can see the hole in there. So there's our pair of earrings. Now, while I'm at it, I want to go ahead and recut 2 earrings at one time. So I have my two earrings together. I'm going to move those onto the screen so that they're again slightly more than 2 inches down and 2 inches over, and then I'm going to attach them. Now I'll click Make It. Well, I thought they would stay there. I forgot they don't. So I move it 2 inches down and 2 inches over. Yeah, that's probably a better view right there. But it is a little more than 2 inches down and a little more than 2 inches over. I click Continue. I'm going to browse my materials. Again, I will search for faux leather. And I'll select it. So I have my two pairs of earrings. And I think that the markings on this piece and this piece are similar, and the markings on this piece and this piece are similar. So I'm actually going to put those two together and those two together. I think that I will put these with a piece of gold, and these will just be plain cork. So I'll do my last two holes, and then I'll go ahead and get this set ready. Okay, here's the original earring that I did in the cork. So I want to duplicate that. And I want to change the color of this one to a gold, which is what we're going to be cutting next. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And I want to make it just a little bit wider. All right. Now I want the gold earring to be in the back. So if I line them up, I see what that's going to look like. I want to make the gold one just a little bit bigger. And again, I'm just going to make it a little bit wider. There we go. I like that better. I can see it peeking out from the sides just a little bit better. So I want to go ahead and hide the layer that we did. I'm going to duplicate the gold layer. Let me just attach these so they will stay together. There we go. Click Make It. And I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to move them down so that they will cut a little bit below 2 inches down and a little bit to the right of 2 inches over. Now I'm going to click Continue. And this time I'm using real leather. So I'm going to, whoops, didn't spell it right. I'm going to search for leather, and I select genuine leather for what I'm using now. I've made it before, so I'll click Done. It wants me to load my deep point blade, so let me change my camera angle so that you can see the rest of the project. Okay, I'm going to start by changing out my blade to my deep point blade. Now, just like always, with a strong grip mat that isn't that strong anymore, I have the strong grip Cricut transfer tape on the mat, sticky side up. Then I cut my leather, put it face down, and then I have a couple of strips of strong grip Cricut transfer tape holding it down. So let me adjust this just a little bit. Okay, we're ready to send it to the maker. Okay, let's unload this and see if it cut well. So you can see the outline really well, so it looks like it did, but let's find out. Well, that's a good sign. The leather is pulling up and leaving the earrings down. You do want to be careful pulling these things up because you can scar the leather. Now, in this case, the transfer tape is still on the top of the leather, so that helps protect it some. There's one earring. There we go. Took a minute. There's the other. Now you may be able to see some frays here. So what I like to do is just take some scissors, and I'm not cutting through the front. I'm angling the scissors so that it's just cutting through the back side. These are really pretty clean though. Now maybe you've seen on a prior video that if this were dark leather, I would actually singe that off, but since it's not dark leather, I'm not going to do that. Okay, let me get this covered and out of the way. So now what I need to do is make my holes in these earrings. Let me set the cork on top of them. That's really, really cute. And this will be identical. Really cute. Okay, so I'll get my tool that I use to punch the holes in them. And I'm going to try to do my best to get the hole about in the same place. I set it down on there very gently so I don't make any marks if it's not in the right place. Now let me pull this over my face so I can really look at it. Okay, I think that's good. So I press really hard and that made a hole. And then I'll do the same thing in the second earring. So let me get the earring hardware in these, the findings, or the, let me see the name of these again, the fish hooks, and I will be back at the end to show you the final product. Now I'm really excited with how my earrings turned out. This is my first time to work with the cork leather or otherwise called cork fabric, and I definitely will be working with this again in the future. I told you earlier I got this at Springfield Leather, and I'm actually going back there tomorrow with my husband. It's about a 2-hour drive from where we live, and I wanted to try this out tonight to see how I liked it, to see if it would be worth getting more tomorrow. If you like my video or find some inspiration in it, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. And if you'd like to see what I'll be working on in the future, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to receive notification when I post a new video, click on the bell and hopefully YouTube will let you know when I've posted a new video. Thank you for joining me. This is Marilyn. Bye-bye.